Welcome everybody to Athletically Speaking, Wagon Wheel Sports College Football Show. After a little bit of a hiatus, we're back and better than ever.
That's right. That's questionable. But.
It is questionable. Today, though, we're completing our series of the all-time teams. A few weeks ago, we did all-time offense, and now today, we're doing our all-time defense.
Yay!
I'm very excited for this one. This one, I felt like was a lot easier than our offense was, personally.
Yeah.
But before that, some news around the sports world. Last time we were here, or before the last time we were here, or after, I don't really know. But OU softball went 4 straight natties.
Never heard of that school. Who are they?
So congrats to them. They
cheated.
They're freaking good.
They're on like steroids or something. I heard. I don't know.
Oh yeah, you heard that? Was that the Mad Texas fan?
Little birdie.
And today and a few days ago, they landed a couple transfers from North Carolina and Utah. So hopefully, heading into the SEC, we'll be ready for 5 feet.
Probably not, but
Probably not.
It's a good thought.
I mean, that class only lost like 4 games in their entire. Or that's more than that, I think, but it's not very many, which is wild. To come in as a freshman and win 4 natties.
It's wild.
It's NCAA video game type of level.
Yeah, they're some dynasty they've had.
Hopefully it continues.
Probably
7 out of 11 years they've won title.
We'll see.
Next up, the NCAA approves corporate logos on the field and jerseys. What's your thought there?
I freaking hate it. I've been pretty saying the same thing. It seems like each week we're doing something more with football, and like first there was the NIL, and now schools are paying players, but now like it's just literally it feels like the NFL to me. I mean, like if it's in the arena somewhere, that's fine, like it's usually been, but like on the field and on the uniforms.
See, that's my kind of thing. Is if
I don't agree with it.
I don't want to look like the Canadian Football League where they're plastered all over jerseys, all over the field and stuff. Like, if you want to put it like on the sidelines in the green space or whatever, that's fine. Don't touch the field.
No.
Leave the field like it is. If you want to hang a banner up in there that says the Waffle House is whatever, then that's fine. Do whatever with it, I guess, that you will. But don't mess with the field, and don't put it on jerseys. Jerseys are cluttered enough as it is.
Yeah.
Let's not put stuff on there either.
It's ridiculous. Everything's just about money nowadays. And
which, speaking of money, how do you feel about the All-State 12? The Big 12 potentially selling their naming rights to somebody?
I knew it was all downhill whenever we had the Undertaker presenting at the Big 12 Championship.
True.
The Dr. Pepper Championship belt award. Like, no. Like, what the heck is that? Like, no. No. Just no.
That's weird. Like, if you're gonna at least come up with a better name. Like, if you want to do the Big 12 presented by All-State or something like that, then at least that's better than the All-State 12 or the Big All-State Conference or something stupid like that. Also, if you're going to put a number and make it involved, why would you keep 12? You're a 16-team league now. Like, why not?
Yeah, I don't get it. I feel like we really, us and the Big Ten, we need to rebrand some ways. I mean, I kind of like the Southwest Conference.
Southwest.
Or something like that, but
I mean, you fit. It fits the demographic now.
For the most part, except a couple schools, but oh well.
Outliers.
Yeah.
No, I agree. That would be great.
It would.
Last thing, we're burning through the news here real quick. Les Miles said that he was going to sue LSU for his vacated wins because now that's apparently keeping him out of the Hall of Fame. I think it's ridiculous because he took a job at Kansas for whatever reason and lost like 17 games, and those 17 games are now keeping him out. Where he would have been completely fine if he didn't take the job at Kansas and then just did what he did, and then hoopla, he's into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So I don't see it going through because if anybody with a brain could just point to that and go, I think it's going to fall through with him. So
I agree.
That's nothing there. All right, you ready for this? That's all the news?
Sure. Yeah. Stay tuned for more. Also, just acknowledge we are less than a month away from the drop of college football 25. I'm very excited to say the least.
Can't wait.
Very moist. I'm just kidding.
I will be playing nonstop, days on end, from 19th on.
Oh, it'll be great. Having an online dynasty.
It's going to be an explicit episode.
No. It'll be a lot of fun, though. I can't wait to whip your tail in at some dynasty and out-recruit you.
I'm going to take Sam Houston to the Natty 12-team playoff. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
The 12-team playoff is actually going to be a thing in there.
Yeah. I like that we're getting that before the actual season,
Yeah.
like seeing it. That's funny.
I always like to go in when we got the games continuously, year after year. I would always go in and sim a first season just so I can be like, oh, well, this team's supposed to win the title this year.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to bringing that back and being like, all right, well, they did it.
Yeah.
That's them. All right. So we're going to run this around just like we did the offense. And that's going to be, we'll start with the D-line. I have 2 defensive ends and 2 defensive tackles, but you go with how you want to. I'll take off first with this, and my first defensive end for my all-time team is David Pollock, who was on College Game Day for a while. He's the SEC Player of the Year in 2002 and 2004. He's SEC Defensive Player in 2004. He won the Bednarik and Lombardi in 2004. He was a first-team All-American from 2002 through 2004, so 02, 03, and 04. And he's one of 2 players to do that at Georgia in his time there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's a great guy, great player. That's who I had at my number 1 for my first defensive end. I think you literally said everything. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I think you literally said everything I had. So yeah.
All right, excellent. Next up, so I have 2 defensive ends. My second defensive end is Leroy Selman from Oklahoma. He won the 74 and 75 national titles. I have a lot of OU guys on here.
Of course you do.
He won both of those, the Outland and Lombardi in his senior year, and he was the number 1 pick in the 1976 NFL draft.
Very nice. Very cool. Next, going to defensive tackles. Yeah. I have Glenn Dorsey from LSU from 05 to 07. He was a tremendous player. He helped lead LSU to an SEC and BCS national championship in 07 while earning the SEC Defensive Player of the Year. He won numerous other awards at that time as well. And he actually ended up in the candidate race for Heisman as well, which is nice. Him being a defensive player, defensive tackle. That's
rare.
Pretty astonishing and rare. But he was overall 5th in the 2008 NFL draft. Yeah, that's a great guy.
Nice. Is that your only defensive tackle?
Yeah, I'm just doing one per.
Cool. That works. So I got my 2. I just filled out a defense. My first defensive tackle, Dewey Selman, Oklahoma, the Selman brothers. Also the same team that won the 74 and 75 national titles. He was an All-American in 74 and 75. And then my last one, who I got beef to pick with the Heisman people. My next defensive tackle is Ndamukong Suh from Nebraska. This man was the 2009 AP Player of the Year. He won the Nagurski, the Bednarik, the Lombardi, and the Outland Awards. All of those. He was an unanimous All-American and a Heisman finalist in which he should have won. His stats were absolutely insane. I don't have the stats in front of me right now. However, him alone, Florida, Alabama, and Texas were the top 3 teams in the country in 2009. Mm-hmm. Him alone had just as much, if not more, than those top 3 defenses in the country by himself. And yet, he just was a finalist in 2009. I don't remember who won it. I think it was like Mark Ingram or somebody stupid won it in 2009. Yeah. And that's ridiculous.
He's a generational player out there.
An absolutely generational player that just got robbed of a Heisman.
Maybe the only – I don't know if there's any defensive player Well, I don't know. Not anytime recently. That's one.
It hadn't been recent. Aiden Hutchinson was the closest at Michigan, and he wasn't even close to what Sue put up.
Yeah, that's wild. That's justice for that man.
For real,
honestly.
If we're giving Reggie Bush a Heisman back, we might as well retroactively go back and give the thing to him because he deserved it.
He did. He did.
All right.
Shoot.
On to the linebackers. What you got?
For linebacker, I do have two of those. My first one I have Brian Bosworth. I'm assuming you got that.
I do.
That guy too. Played from Oklahoma in the '80s, national championship in 1985. Two-time Buckus Award, two-time AP All-American, three-time All-Big 8 finalist.
Yes.
Well, so yeah, no, great guy. I'm sure you'll tell us you have much more.
Well, I basically have
like
what you had.
worship
So.
the man, but not really. He deserves to be respected.
So my first one, and I'm gonna go back to you. I got Dick Butkus, the monster of the Midway, for some of the same reasons that I had for the offensive people. If you got an award named after you, I feel like you guys
deserve
are pretty high up there.
Yeah.
He finished 6th in the Heisman voting. He had 374 tackles in his career. That's his total time. So that was one of my linebackers. Who you got?
Wait, I actually have him as well for the second. You said again everything that I had. So
great mind.
Short and sweet. Short and sweet. I feel like for offensive at least we were different.
Yeah.
But defensive we're just.
I mean defensively is pretty.
Yeah.
Cut and dry there.
Yeah.
My second linebacker is Ray Lewis from Miami. In 5 games alone in his freshman year, he made a freshman All-American team. He led the Big East in tackles, ripped the Big East, in his last 2 seasons. And he still currently has the 5th most in Miami history in tackles, and is a 2-time All-American. And then my last linebacker, as you said, was Brian Bosworth, the Boz. He won the 85 title. And he's still currently the only linebacker to win 2 Butkus Awards.
Really?
He is.
Oh, wow. Cool thing. Yeah. That's a great guy.
So that was pretty nice.
Yeah.
All right. On to the cornerbacks.
Cornerbacks. I have
defensive back.
Champ Bailey, who was with Georgia from 96 to 98. Sometimes I need to space out my stuff better so I can read it. In his junior season, he recorded 52 tackles with 3 interceptions, and defended 7 passes as a defensive back. On offensive and special teams, Bailey scored 5 times on 47 catches, 744 yards, and added 84 rushing yards and 12 kickoff returns for 261 yards. He kind of did it all. Very versatile player. He also won the Nagurski Award and was an All-American, so I can't also that right, but
That was right. Nice. So my 2 cornerbacks, I start with Charles Woodson from Michigan. He won the 1997 Natty, which was the last Michigan Natty until last year. The one defensive player to win the Heisman that should have been, the drill on that one.
Yeah.
But he won Heisman as a defensive player. I think I put him down there. My other cornerback, Rod Woodson from Purdue. He played kick return, kind of like what you were talking about. He's an all-around type of guy. He left Purdue with 13 individual records. He had 10 career interceptions or something like that, I think. What did I put down here? Oh, he read 13 individual records. He still leads currently in career interceptions.
Oh. Okay.
Or 10th in career interceptions. My handwriting is really bad.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not sure what that number is, but he had a lot of tackles while at Purdue. And also he had lots of pass deflections and kickoff return yardage while at Purdue. That was a horrible. Apparently, I was trying to get through him
That's what I say.
quickly.
A moment of silence.
I want to silence my handwriting for sure. All right.
Who we got
Safeties.
for safeties. From my thingy is, I know I have it. Okay. I have Ed Reed from Miami from 2001. That's all I have here.
Excellent choice.
He led the team as a freshman in interceptions and forced fumbles with back-to-back All-American seasons in 2000 2001. He led the nation as a senior with 9 interceptions for 290 yards and 3 touchdowns. They did win the 2001 championship too, so that was a very notable thing. He was named Big East Defensive Player of the Year, and he actually still holds the school record for career interceptions of 21 and return yards of 389, and defensive touchdowns, which is 5. So pretty remarkable player.
Nice. I also had Ed Reed.
Oh, nice.
For many of the things that you also said that you've already covered. Just a little fun fact: he also won the Big East Championship in the javelin toss.
Really?
Yeah.
That is a fun fact. Wow.
So there you go.
Heck
For
yeah.
Ed Reed, way to go.
Yeah.
And then my last safety of the day is Sean Taylor from Miami as well.
Nice.
He also won the 2001 Natty. In 2002, he finished 3rd in tackles. 03, a unanimous All-American, the Big East Defensive Player of the Year finalist, or the Big East Defensive Player of the Year, and then he was a finalist for the Jim Thorpe Award, which is the greatest or the best player in college football for that year.
Thank you, man.
So yeah.
Heck yeah. Who had the all-time defenses too, I believe, right?
Yes.
What did you have
so
here?
I went through. So my top defenses. I just wanted to start with the 2011 Alabama.
No. Okay.
They had for the year 183.7 yards per game on average, and then averaged 8.2 points per game, which is
Very
wild to
yeah.
think about.
Very impressive.
So what's yours?
I also have them on my
Also
list, but I also have the 2001 Miami Hurricanes. They held 8 opponents to 8 points or fewer, allowing a 9.8 point per game and generating an absurd 48 takeaways defensively.
That's wild.
That really is. So hence why defense they win championships.
That's right.
So hey, it's,
How many defense did you have? Was that it?
and then I also just have the 1978 USC
Nice.
Trojans.
So I went
really
through. I had 4.
Did you?
Just
Okay.
for funsies.
All right.
I had 2001 Miami. They had 4.1 turnovers per game. That team alone had 21 future NFL draft picks. So that's pretty wild. The 2021 Georgia up there, just for their
Yeah.
insaneness that was.
Yeah.
And then the 1971 Nebraska team, 209.4 yards per game and 8 points per game, or yards per game, and then 8 points per game allowed was there.
Heck
Hold on,
yeah.
did I tell you top teams?
Yes.
I did.
Wait, top team just now? Like,
So I put some teams down.
yeah, no, you
Did
didn't.
mention I didn't.
You did.
Oh,
you
okay.
we just went over.
Okay, we went over top defenses, but teams.
No, we didn't do like all. We didn't do teams
Okay.
all together. Actually.
I
Which I
brought
did.
some to talk about.
Okay.
The 1995 Nebraska team in total beat every opponent by 14 plus points. Their closest game was 14 points. And everybody else, I think they won the national championship like 63 to 21 against Florida. It was a straight beat down. 2019 LSU, Joe Burrow, just the wildness that was.
Yeah.
01 Miami, and 2011 Alabama is who I'd
All-
have as.
It's all good teams. It's amazing talking about Nebraska though. How
Who they were,
who
yeah.
they were, and used to be now who they. It's very sad. I saw someone compare them to Oklahoma. How they used to be this great powerhouse, and now they're
I would
just
like to say
a
Oklahoma's
shell
still
of their
good,
shell of their former self.
unlike Nebraska.
Yeah, but you guys are on your way there. I think you're going to be kind of fade into the background
You can
of the SEC.
believe that. We'll talk about that more later.
I
But you can believe that if you want. You can be wrong.
mean, I don't want it to be right. I'm just saying.
Speaking of Nebraska, though, I pulled up the defensive stats for Ndamukong Suh in 2009. In tackles, Alabama's defense in total had 98. Texas's had 112. Florida had 116, and Ndamukong Suh had 82 by himself.
He got robbed.
Tackles for loss. Alabama's team had 23.5. Texas 22. Florida 25.5. And Ndamukong Suh 23. Sacks. Alabama all season long 9.5. Texas 14. Florida 15.5. Suh 12.
Oh man.
Quarterback hurries. Alabama 20. Texas 48. Florida 10. Suh 24.
That's freaking wild.
PBU. I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean. Off the top of my head, Alabama had 5, Texas had 5, Florida had 7, Suh had 10. Interceptions. Alabama, Texas, and Florida all had 0. Suh had 1. Forced fumbles. Alabama had 1, Texas had 1, Florida had 2, Suh had 1. Blocked kicks. Alabama had 3, Texas and Florida had none, and Suh had 3.
The man was a machine.
It was complete robbery,
Yeah.
but whatever. We'll all be sad for him.
Yeah, for real.
All right,
I feel you, man.
that was all for our defensive.
So yeah, that's all I got. It was fun.
It was.
We should do it again sometime soon.
We should. Next up will be the SEC breakdown.
I
So
can't wait for that. We'll
let's do it.
see you guys then.
All right. Well, that was all I had. So that is it for Athletically Speaking.
Bye bye.